going to be in those situations. And I think leaning on good leadership is going to be big for a lot of these teams like NBA, NHL, baseball, whatever.
We had Matt Anthony, the assistant coach for Cape Breton, and we had the conversation about leadership and how it's one of the most underrated qualities of a core group in any sport, leadership. And I like what you said about Sid, how he's going to be able to lead during this time. I agree. When you have guys at his age that are, I'm not saying he's coming down from his peak, but he's definitely, at his peak, maybe a little bit on the way down,
Yeah.
Something special could come from this.
Oh, for sure.
Something special could come from this. Yeah. Same from LeBron.
Yeah, from LeBron.
So LeBron's in the same position.
Yeah, 100%. And I think people are thinking in football, Tom Brady. I'm a big Patriots fan, big Tom Brady fan.
You?
And Tom's one of those guys. I think Brady's probably, again, one of the best leaders in pro sports, maybe ever. And if you look at a guy like being able to check his ego and do whatever it takes for the team, I think, Brady and guys like that are the example of it, A lot of guys will claim Brady, might be a system QB because there's a lot of checkdowns and there's a lot of short passes and dishes to the running backs and changing the plays to the running game. And there's not a lot of guys, especially when you're making big, huge money and you're QB1 and you're the guy that can check their ego like that and can actually, say, no, I'm going to try to throw it. You throw the incomplete pass and now you got to punt, right? Where a guy like Tom Brady has always just, said, you know what, I want rings and I want our team to do well. So I can take a check down. I can do a short pass and like I say, you pump up your fullback that you just did a little 3-yard pass to and he gets the yards and you can pump that guy up. So there's leadership in that too. And I think guys like Brady and Sid and LeBron are huge. And I think the Lakers have a great chance too just because of that, Yeah. And I think the Raptors have a great chance just because Nick Nurse. I think that guy's a great leader and I think Kyle Lowry's a great leader. And I think they have excellent leadership on that team and they've been there last year. So they're definitely my pick out of the East, and I'm sure they'll get Kawhi or LeBron out of the West, but we'll see how that goes.
I don't know much about football at all, but I like what you were talking about Tom Brady there and how he has the leadership ability. 6 championships. I think about Mike. Did you watch the Michael Jordan documentary?
For sure.
But then I look at Tom Brady's personality, and I've seen some of his mic'd up clips, and he gets intense, and you're like, okay, that's great. But I like looking at maybe different styles of leadership, Michael Jordan compared to Tom Brady, because if you talk about greatness in our era, or not our era, but in our lifetime, those two guys are neck and neck. You can't argue with that. I think. I don't know football, but in the football world, are they saying that?
For sure, I think so. I think it's a great comparison, to be honest, and that's the one I'd like to see. Like, not just because I'm a Brady fan, but I think it's the most interesting. I think if you chronicled like The Last Dance and did the 20-year Patriot run with Bill Belichick, and you had to go through, Spygate and Deflategate and everything that team's been through, and how Belichick and Brady kind of persevered through it. But you make a great point about the two leadership styles and which one's more effective, because it seemed like there was a little bit of resentment from guys about the Michael Jordan thing. And I don't think there's too much resentment from people that have played with Tom Brady. I think that Michael Jordan's style was kind of like, get better, you've got to be great. I want you to be as great as me, or you need to be as great as me. Where Tom Brady's kind of approach is, you are as great as me, so figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like he said, like, I believe you're up here. Jordan maybe kind of like, I don't believe you're here. You need to try to but Brady kind of pumps guys up, it seems. And like I say, you don't hear too many people, being resentful of Brady after they leave the Patriots, where on, the Last Dance documentary, there's a little bit from Horace Grant and maybe Pippen. And I forget, there was a couple other guys that said, it's kind of tough. You got a guy yelling in your face all the time, maybe because he says you're not good enough or whatever. But I think Brady's kind of style and why they've been so successful, greatest dynasty probably ever, especially in football and the salary cap, being able to go to 9 Super Bowls and in 20 years or in 18 years as him as the starter, which is insane. But I think it comes from his ability to kind of lift guys up, and I think Sid's the same way. I think just
it's all good. It's all good.
I think just Sid's the same way. And why he's been so successful. I think he kind of takes that approach, is looking for the good in people and finding the ways they are great, and then challenging them to achieve that, challenging them to bring that out of themselves. And I think you're going to find when, whoever ends up winning this thing, like whether it's the NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, I think whichever teams end up winning all these things, a lot of people in media or fans will point to, well, look at these guys, look at this guy they have, or these couple guys, look at this leadership group. I think that's going to be a common thread, not just so much they had the most talent. I think because this is a very, very special circumstance we're in.
Yeah.
Very, very special. And I think it's going to take a special group of people to win it. And it might not be the necessarily most talented guys. So I think the leadership aspect and, like you said, how underrated it is, I think we're going to see how much of a quality it really is when we see guys or girls, whoever, like, the women's soccer I saw started up back too, end up winning these championships.